Y'all, tell me if this sounds familiar. You decided you were going to write your memoir. You sat down one day determined that you were going to get started. Maybe you even got the kids out of the house for the day. Maybe your husband out of the house for the day. You knew this was the day you were going to finally see progress. But all you saw was that blinking cursor on the blank page. It is such a bummer. Well, I am here to tell you that this is not your fault. It is just a matter of lacking the proper planning. So today I want to go through 3 simple steps that will get you started on your memoir today. And not only that, you are going to be so certain that what you're working on is exactly what it should be. Stay tuned. In my team's 30 plus years in publishing, we see the same thing over and over. Women do not ask for the help we need. But if you are going to write a memoir that you are truly proud of, you are going to need training, you're going to need accountability, and you're going to need support to make sure that the whole thing is so much fun. And you're in luck because you can head over to the Memoir Method and enroll in our very next group cohort starting next month. Just head over to pageandpodium.com/memoir-method to learn more and apply. So what I find derails more memoir writers than not is that they go into writing their memoir thinking that they are going to do what is called pantsing. Now, you might not be familiar with this term. Many people who try it are not familiar with the term. But this term simply means flying by the seat of your pants, pantsing. And the reason that it is so sticky in literary circles is that many fiction writers will use pantsing as their method. Now, what that means, and Stephen King is famous for this, is that they will just live inside the world of their book. They'll write scenes, they'll play with different relationships and interactions and event ideas they have. Then they'll go back and rewrite the whole thing, and then they'll sometimes go back and rewrite it again because they were starting really not sure what they wanted to say, right? They knew that they had X and Y and Z characters. They knew they wanted them in A and B and C setting, and they knew they had a couple of events they wanted in there. They weren't really sure of the plot. But here's the thing. Pantsing does not work in memoir. And in fact, I have heard people say, I don't disagree, that if you are trying to pants your memoir, you are essentially just journaling. Now, if you have watched this channel long, you know I love to journal, so this is no disparagement against journaling if that is what you want to do. But journaling is not the same as starting your memoir. And what I find is that people know that intuitively. When they start writing, if they don't have a plan, they really don't feel like they have any direction. They don't know where they're supposed to go. They're not confident in whether the product is going to be any good. And eventually they just get stalled. Okay, so speaking of stalling, let's get right into our tips today, because what I want to do is give you 3 very simple steps that if you can go through these and master them, you are going to come out the other side ready to fight against that blinking cursor and the blank page of doom. Okay, so if you are starting your memoir, the very first thing that you need to do before you do anything else, the very first thing you need to do is a brain dump. Now, we do this in the Memoir Method, and a lot of times we will encourage people, support them, kind of give them some ideas, get them started. We also have a template for this that helps people kind of organize their thoughts, but you don't actually need that. All you need is whatever kind of writing document or utensil you like. That could be a Google Doc, it could be a spreadsheet. I like a spreadsheet. It could be just a paper journal. It could even honestly just be like a notebook. It does not have to be anything fancy. And all you are going to do here is dump out of your head every story, every scene, every memory, and every idea, every message, every bit of wisdom, every learning experience. everything you think you want in that memoir. We're not worried here about editing. As with any brain dump, the point is to dump it out of your brain. It's going to give you a lot of clarity then to be able to just see all of these events, all of these stories, all these ideas, all on the page. Now, this can be a deceptive task because I find that a lot of times people expect that this will be really, really fast, right? 5-10 minutes, dump everything out. I do suggest that you start with 5 or 10 minutes. And in fact, a timer can be a really, really useful tool for this because it will keep you honest, will keep you dumping out just the 1 or 2 or 3 words that you need to reference that scene rather than going into full-scale journaling mode. So I do suggest that you start a timer. 5-10 minutes is fine. But then you need to walk away and come back another day. Set that timer again. Go through your 5-10 minutes, walk away again, and then come back and do it again until you feel certain that everything you want to say, everything you want to talk about, everything you have learned from a particular time in your life is all listed on your brain dump. Here is a good tip to know whether you're close or you're getting there. And that is something in the social sciences that we call saturation. Now, all saturation is that if you were a social scientist and you were interviewing people for a research project or a book or a documentary, you would ask them question after question after question, and you keep asking questions and you keep talking to different people until you start to hear the same things over and over. And that is what we call saturation. Once you start seeing that in your brain dump, you are repeating the same things, because remember, this is 3 days that you're doing this over 4 or 5, however long. Once you start to see duplicates, that is a really good sign that you're starting to get there. Now, it's not fail-safe. It could be that even just within the top 10, you've got to repeat. Well, we need more than 10 probably, right? But when you start to feel like you are just repeating yourself, you're just relisting things, that's a really good sign you're getting close. I would set that timer one more time, give yourself one more 10-minute sprint, and dump out everything else you can think of. Okay, so the first tip we're gonna do, the first step, is we're gonna dump everything out on the page. This is not meant to be, nor should it be, actual stories or scenes or even explanations. This is for your eyes only, 1 to 3 words per line. Okay, so once we've got our brain dump, we're gonna go back in there, and what you will find is that your brain dump is gonna give you a really high level view of everything you need to be thinking of to make yourself a cohesive story. And what we're gonna do with that is we're going to come up with 2 different things that are going to be the foundation of your memoir. The first of those is your core topic, and the second is your core message. Okay, so for our core topic, this one is so deceptively simple. All we are going to do with our core topic is we are going to choose the time in your life that this memoir will take place. So a couple of examples of this might be, my memoir is about recovering from cancer. In that case, your core topic is recovering from cancer. Your core topic might be, my memoir is about getting fired from a toxic job and realizing it was the best thing that could have happened to me. Your core topic is getting fired from the job. That is the time period we're talking about. Could be running for political office. It could be moving out of the house for the first time. It could be having your first child. Any kind of event that you can wrap around for one single topic, that is going to work to start out for your core topic. Now, the test for whether you've got this or not is, again, whether you can say in one sentence what your memoir is about. And I want to give you a quick word of warning because I see one mistake that happens quite a bit, and I want to make sure that you can avoid it in your own work. And that is that many times people are really resistant to choosing just one topic. So they will come to me either for coaching, for the memoir method, or for ghostwriting services, and they will say, I have this memoir, And I want to talk about how when I was a little kid, I had childhood cancer and it was so hard. And I remember, that I really struggled. I lost my hair. I really felt, like I was really isolated and alienated in the hospital a lot. And then when I got a little bit older, then I went to college and I really realized that there was a lot of stuff that I didn't know, but I was really good in math. And then later on, I had this incident with my boss. You see where I'm going, right? So that is not a core topic because that is more like a brain dump. Now, this is why we did our brain dump first, right? Because we know we are going to put a lot more than one thing into your book. But before we start deciding which things go in your book, we've got to know the one thing your book is about. So look at your brain dump. Think about what is the one time period in your life that is most represented here. Is it a stretch of, 3 to 5 years that happened a decade ago? Is it a stretch of 10 years maybe that happened when you were a child? Is it just 1 year or even 6 months when a major life transformation happened? Whatever it is, we want to make sure that we can describe it in one sentence, and the end of that sentence, my memoir is about, that is your core topic. So think about that. That also is not, a snap your fingers type of easy decision. You're going to have to think on it a little bit probably. But once you think you know, write it down and stick to it. You can be flexible later if you need to, but what we want to do now is commit to the topic, because if you have watched this channel long, you know that the number one thing that's going to derail you at this stage is just not deciding. So pick your core topic, write it down. Okay, the second half of this second step is that you are going to come up with your core message. Now, often this sounds a little bit more difficult, but usually this is easier for folks. Our core message is the piece of wisdom or knowledge or experiential learning that you have picked up through your core topic, right? So if our core topic is I survived childhood cancer, maybe your message is it is okay if you feel different, you are perfect the way you are, and everything will be fine. Beautiful. I love that message, right? And you can see that goes really neatly with our topic, but it gives us a little more than just the what. It gives us the so what. Why should people care that you had childhood cancer, other than that we are empathetic, good people, right? But why should people care enough to read your book? Because you have this powerful message about self-love and loving yourself, even if you feel isolated and alienated and sick. That is a powerful message. Together, the topic and the message are going to propel each other forward so that people will read all the way through your book and love it so much. Okay, so your message can be any range of things, but it needs to be one thing, right? My core message is love yourself even when you feel isolated. It is going to be okay. That is one message, right? Notice we didn't say, love yourself, it's going to be okay. When you're in the hospital, make sure you ask for, nurses that are going to be sympathetic, and be sure your family's taken care of. They're going to be really scared. All those things can be mentioned in the book. All those things cannot be your core message. Okay, so for step 2, we are defining out our core topic and our core message. And again, with folks in the Memoir method, we will help you with this. This is actually one of the very most fun days that we have on our group calls, is when people have a core topic or a core message that they want to bring in. And we get to just workshop it a little bit and, ask you questions, and you get to see how the other people in the group are so excited to hear about your book. So we want to make sure we don't skip this step. Write down your core topic and write down your core message. Okay, step 3, see, this isn't so hard, right? Step 3, the very last step in this pre-writing sequence. Now we are going to develop our outline. Now again, if you're in the Memoir method, you will know that we have a very systematized way of breaking your book into quadrants, so that you know that your narrative arc is going to be engaging. You're going to have a very exciting climax. You're going to have a nice denouement. You're going to get started the way you need to, etc., etc., etc. But really, you can get started without all of that. The main thing you need to do is go back to your brain dump, look at your core topic, and look at your core message, and figure out which things fit and which things don't. Now, you will find that some things are eliminated just because of the chronology, right? So if you were wanting to talk about this first time that you got a great job and then you were fired from it and it was a really toxic environment, we might need to question then whether the story about going on your first date in high school really belongs in here. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. You're probably the only one that will really know at this stage. But I can make a guess that it doesn't fit, right? Because we're talking about this job, the toxicity of the job, the things you experienced as a result of it, the way it felt to go through this, and your message, what you learned from it all. So we want to focus, we want to eliminate anything from the brain dump that doesn't seem to fit within the boundaries of our topic and our message. The second thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to break this into quarters. So look at your list, your brain dump list. It can be really helpful. I would put this in chronological order at this stage and just kind of see, how does the flow happen from beginning to end? What if you drew a line right down the middle? Would that be an exciting scene? Would it be a scene where you felt empowered, where you made a big decision? If not, how can we adjust where we are in that timeline? How can we kind of cut a scene or move a scene or make something bigger so that we do have a center line down that brain dump that is something that is a turning point? That is going to be our midpoint. That is the point at which we will see you start to develop more agency, be a little bit more thoughtful. Now you know that is the 50% mark. Whenever you identify that moment that is right around the middle part and that is a turning point for you, that's your middle. Now you can look from the beginning of that timeline to the middle, draw another line, cut that in half, and now you're looking again, is there a turning point in there? Now we like to call this 25% mark, we like to call that the desperate step. Because often what is happening in a memoir around the 25% mark is that people have faced something that they've never experienced before. Things are starting to go either badly or just like weird. So what they are having to do is they're forced to make some kind of a decision. But who among us is making our best decision when we don't know what we're supposed to be doing, right? When everything looks different, it feels different, and we're up against it. A lot of times we are just doing what we got to do to survive, right? But those are decisions too. So where around half of the half, where around there is a turning point for you where you had to make a choice, you had to do something different, that is what you're going to mark at your 25% mark. And then we're going to do the same thing on the back half, right? Take your back, your 50% to 100%, draw a line down the middle. And again, we are looking for a point at which something changed for you. Now, we like to call this the epiphany because usually around 3/4 of the way through a book or a movie or a TV show, you will see that whoever the narrator is in a memoir, the author or a character, whoever that narrator is going to start to put the pieces together. And as they put the pieces together, what they are going to discover is that they have been doing everything all wrong. They have made that desperate step. They have made another step that was just not a great idea. It was kind of what they thought they should do at the time. Did lead them forward, but not great. At 75%, at 3/4, that is the point where everything clicks. Now, the story's not done yet, right? We have a whole quarter of the book left. But from that 75% mark, we really want to see you pretty confident. Now, you don't know everything. You've still got stuff to learn. That is fine. But we do want to see you confidently moving forward, making a plan, getting this all resolved. Okay, so that is step 3. I like to call that either bracketing or the quadrant method. Those are very similar. And again, we talk about all of these in the Memoir method. We have additional trainings. We do a lot of support around the quadrants because that is the entire foundation of our program. So if you want a little more hands-on support, now is the time. We are opening enrollment for the Memoir method now. So you can hop in there and either sign up for the wait list, or once we open the doors, then you can go ahead and enroll. All you need to do, fill out your application, let us know who you are, what you're trying to do. We will send you all the information that you need to get enrolled and get started this June, knocking out that memoir. Okay, 3 easy steps. Do your brain dump, figure out your core topic and your core message, and then finally break your brain dump into your quadrants. And now you should have roughly a sense of what you need to be doing going forward and what those points you're going to need to hit along the way are. Okay, I have so enjoyed talking with you, and I hope that this is going to be the year that you can knock this book out and finally feel that amazing sense of accomplishment, of helping others, of inspiring and uplifting, and sometimes even warning and teaching others by your example. It is such an amazing feeling, and I cannot wait to see what you are going to do in this world. Happy writing. Y'all, I have got some exciting news. We are opening up seats in the next cohort of the Memoir Method, the 9-month program designed specifically to help women start, finish, and publish their memoir. If you have been putting this off for any time at all, now is the time to jump in and get this thing done. I promise you, it's going to be so rewarding. You will be so proud to be done, and you are going to meet some amazing accountability partners, not just me and Emily, but everybody in the cohort. Head over to pageandpodium.com/memoir-method to learn more. I can't wait to see you.